Hi, I'm Dick Eit with Bites by Eit. We have a wonderful catering company based in Atlanta, Georgia. We do parties up and down the East Coast, Tennessee, Manhattan, Greenwich, New Canaan, Nantucket, and down to Florida. In the Northeast, where we are in New York today, and even in Atlanta, it's been cold. And when it's cold out, it's a good time to do chili. So we're going to do two types of chilies. We're going to do a traditional beef, ground chicken, and ground pork chili. And then we're going to do a vegetable chili, which is one of my favorites. And we'll serve that with some shredded cheddar cheese, mozzarella, and a fresh horseradish sour cream. So let's begin by getting the onions cut and sauteed in the peppers, and then we'll start adding the vegetables. So here we go. You guys have seen me do this many a time, but we'll do it again. Nice peel. Again, the Vidalia onions. So instead of doing chopped garlic, I'm going to use the garlic powder instead. It's a bit of a cheat, but it works very well. The other cheat that you can do at home, I get beans and then I soak them overnight. You can do that, but if you're in a rush and if you don't want that, you can also use canned beans. I prefer doing it myself because those canned beans tend to be extra salty. I don't need the sodium, so either way, but it turns out fine however you want to do it. This cut will be a little bit, maybe a quarter of an inch or so. You want to be able to, when you're having the chili, you want to be able to bite into the onions, so I don't do a small cut. It's a little bit of a bigger cut. And the same thing with all the vegetables I'll do, with the eggplant and the squash and the, I like using multicolored peppers, red, yellow, and orange. I'm not a big fan of green peppers, so I don't use them. And those will also be about the size of my, half my thumb. So again, when you bite into it, you can actually see it and taste it and feel it in your mouth. There we go. Okay, onions are ready. I'll cut up the peppers. So I just cut these at the ends, take out most of the membrane, and I have that part. And then I take these and again, cut these into sort of thumb-sized pieces. See, my thumb fits over it. I think that's a good bite, a good chunk of it. You know, sometimes the chopping of the vegetable seems like it's sort of tedious. I sort of find it therapeutic. It's nice, refreshing, it's relaxing to do. And especially when I use fresh vegetables or beans, I feel really good about the meal. So. And I do like using different colors. When I eat fruits, I do lots of different colors of fruits. And the same thing with the vegetables. Cut those into 3 sections. And the last red pepper. Just make sure you get out the seeds. And there we go. Okay. Squash. Cut off the ends, cut these in half, so thumb size, thumb, and thumb. These will shrivel up, melt down a little bit, so they may seem like they're a little big once it gets into the chili portion of it. Many a times I'll do this, I'll make this chili like I do my meal prep every week. I'll do my vegetables for the week, and so it's handy. And I'll do chili that will last me for a week. I'll put some in the freezer. I use those Cryovac machines that I get at Costco, then put it in the fridge, or I put it in the freezer. And you can pull it out, and it's quite wonderful. I like eggplant a lot, especially in a chili. I use eggplant when I make my own tomato sauce. These will really melt down quite a bit, like a lot. So, and I'm making this a little bit bigger than the thumb because it will melt down and shrink. And there we go. Vegetables are done, and now we'll go and cook those off. You know what? We'll add some cauliflower to it. Why not? I love cauliflower. In one of my previous shows, we did cauliflower roasted, and then we put some tomato sauce on it and some fresh Parmesan cheese. And it was just, it's fabulous. Okay, so we'll go over and start cooking these down. Okay, so we're gonna make two different pots. The first one will be just the vegetables, and the second one will be the meats. So I'll start with the onions. Nice sizzle there. Give that a little stir first. A little bit of salt and pepper. And that's good. Get that started up. I'll add the peppers to it to get all those colors. Let that soften up before I add any of the other vegetables. So it's on a medium heat or so. I don't want it to burn. The pork, the beef, and the ground chicken, I'll salt and pepper that. And cooking this, everything in both, pepper, in the extra virgin olive oil. Again, the heat can't be too high, otherwise the oil will smoke and then eventually burn. So they're both on medium heats. Put that down. Turn it upside down. More salt and pepper on top. I'm going to turn the heat up on this. It's not burning. And let this swivel a bit. A different fork, a different wooden spoon for the meat in case people are, they don't like having any meat at all touching their chili. So that's why I use the two separate pots, spoons, keep it all away from each other. So now I've turned up the heat on both the pots. You just don't want to burn anything to begin with, especially when you're working with two pots at the same time. You want to be careful. So you start a little bit lower, and then you gradually increase the temperature. And so now I have it both under control. They're both going well. I do a little stir here, a little stir there. It's all under control. I don't have to worry about burning anything, and just let it cook. Nice thing about this, it's already ground, and it's fresh chicken, fresh ground beef from the butcher. It's easy to do. On the beans, I cooked these overnight last night for the show. I probably had them on for about 2-3 hours. Brought up to a boil, and then I had it simmering for about 2 hours after that. Took it off the stove, let it set, let it cool down, and it's a mixture of a variety of beans, which I like. And also when I taste them, they are, one, they're not salty, have a little bit of a crunch. If it was pasta, you might call it al dente. It's cooked all the way through, but it's not mushy. When I do a chili, I don't like mushy beans. I like to have a bite to it. That's why I like the vegetables to have a bite. The vegetables to be good size. It's just better that way, for me. And this is something you can do. This is a lot of chili. And you can take it and put it in the freezer. If you have those Cryovac vacuum seals, they're phenomenal. Or if you have a large party, to have two nice sized chilies. You know, some people are meat lovers and some aren't, and so it really works well. The onions are starting to become a little translucent, which I like. Same with the peppers, are starting to soften up. I'll put the cauliflower in next because that's the next hardest and longer cooking item. Break these up a little bit more, and then I'll add the squash and the eggplant. Give this a nice stir. Get those newly incorporated vegetables into the bottom of the pot where the heat is, and let that sit. And these eggplant, they'll shrivel up to about half that size. So with this, it's more vegetables and less of the beans, which I like. And then with the other chili, it's more of the meat and less of the and more beans. So we'll let that go. We'll come back to this. The meats are almost cooked through. Then I'll add the tomato sauce. So now I'm going to add some chili powder into the meat. It's not hot chili powder. I don't recommend a hot chili powder just because when you're cooking for a family or a group, you have to cook to the lowest common denominator. You can always add spice to it later, but if it's too hot, people aren't gonna, those people that don't like spice won't eat it. So you can't make it super spicy. We've talked about that before in our other shows. So we'll add some cumin. We'll add some granulated onion. And we'll add some garlic powder. A little bit of rosemary. Okay, and then we'll go back to the vegetables. I can hear it cooking on the bottom. I wouldn't say it's burning on the bottom, but I can definitely hear it. The eggplant is already starting to shrink in size. Adding some chicken stock to you could use vegetable stock or chicken stock. I like the chicken stock just because it has more flavor. You can use vegetable stock if your guests are vegan, if they just like vegetables, like the majority, but so that will help. Now I'll add the herbs to this, the cumin, the granulated garlic, and a little more onion. I'll give this a stir, and it's still on a pretty high heat here because I'm trying to cook all the vegetables. Next, I'm going to add some tomato sauce. Let me grab that and add a little bit to the beef. We're almost ready to add the beans to it. And then once we have that done, we'll be ready just to let it simmer and cook on down. It will take anywhere from half hour to an hour to cook, especially the vegetables. The beef, not so much. So I'll add some beans to this with the broth that it came in. And once I have this ready to go, mixed in, I'll turn it down to a simmer, and this chili is ready. 15 minutes is all we need. Bring it down from a high heat down to a low heat. keep this. This is, you can see it's boiling. I won't add the beans yet because I'm going to still keep it at a higher temperature. Once I turn it down to a simmer, that's when I'll put the beans in. So there we go. Vegetable chili, a beef chili, easy peasy. Great dish for the winter time, and great for groups, great for the family, and it's all very healthy. Okay, so one of the things we can add to the beef chili is red wine. I wouldn't do a white wine. Red wine has good flavor, or a dark beer. And we have a nice dark beer. We'll add that to the beef chili. Another way to go, or in addition to, you could always add some dark chocolate to it. We're not going to do that today, but it's an option for you. So just add the beer in there, and it gives it great flavor. It makes it bolder and richer and deeper, and it also provides just another flavor that I'm not quite sure what that is. And either the beer or the wine, it's phenomenal. Okay, so we've had the two chilies, the vegetables and the meat chilies, cooking for no more than 45 minutes. And you can hear it in the background, it's really popping and sizzling. I did add some more beans to it and some more tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes to it, which is something you can do. You can, it's a stew, it's a chili. You can make it, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can however you like it. And so this is how I like it. And so we'll start off with the vegetable chili, do a nice portion of that. We have mozzarella cheese, which I like to put on there. It's sort of stringy, sort of gooey, and I put a little sharp cheddar cheese on there, and then I put some sour cream. The last thing I'll put on there is I'll shave some horseradish. I'm just into the horseradish. I think it goes great with a chili and gives us some good flavor. So let's start off with the vegetable chili. So here it is, and you can see the great colors that you have from it. You remember how I talked about how the eggplant, see how it turns to sort of mushy stuff? It's just the perfect texture. It's quite fabulous. So I really do like that in a chili. Not many people put a eggplant in the chili, or cauliflower in the chili, zucchini, squash. I think it's quite nice. Okay, so we'll get a nice bowl here. Clean as you go, clean that up. And let's get a nice scoop of a chili. And we'll put one more on there. Nice beans. I mean, it doesn't get much healthier than that, and tasty. I'll put the mozzarella cheese down first so it melts more and it gets stringy, which I sort of like it as you're eating it. It sort of like floats over the spoon. It's gooey. And then for good color and good taste, sprinkle the cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese. I think that's enough. A little sour cream, a dollop of sour cream. Okay, I'm going to return this back to the stovetop, and we'll do the horseradish. Okay, and I'll put this definitely on top of the sour cream, but I'll also move it around so you get a little bit of the horseradish in all your bites. You don't get hit too hard in any one bite with the horseradish. There you go. Okay, that's your vegetable chili, and let's come back with the beef chili. Pace makes waste. Don't rush. Take your time. No accidents, no burns. We'll give this a stir around so you can see the nice meats in there, the beans. I did add some red pepper flakes into this one, so it'll have a little bit of heat, but it won't be a killer. It'll just be nice. And here we go with the meat chili. Chicken, pork, and beef. And you can see that nice sauce in there. I'll take this back to the stovetop. Clean that up. And again, we'll add our cheeses to it. Sprinkle it around so it melts in there nicely. A little cheddar. Let's dollop a nice sour cream. It's a big bowl, so I do a big dollop. And then the horseradish. So when you serve this to your guests, especially with the horseradish, ask them, do you want the horseradish on there? Tell them how great it is. Put a little bit on there, a little bit tentative, and they can always come back for a little bit more. They can always come back for more cheeses, sour cream, and horseradish. So there we have it. Our two winter chilies, vegetables and meats, beef, pork, and chicken, with some nice cheeses, mozzarella, cheddar, sour cream, and horseradish. So I want to thank you. I want to thank my sponsors, Little Leaf Farms. Chili goes great with salads too. You have a chili party, you do a salad with it too, and nothing better than Little Leaf Farms. So I want to thank you very much and enjoy.